Congratulations on being inducted into the California Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. It's an honor.
We have a few questions we'd like to ask you about your career.
Sure.
First, what individual has had the greatest impact on your wrestling career?
Oh, there's no doubt. It's my mother. From the time I was born, well, let's restate that the person who had the most influence on my wrestling career was definitely my mother. She's a strong, smart person who made sure from the beginning of my life that I understood to stand up for myself and to believe in myself, and that no matter what goal I had in life, I had a chance of achieving it with hard work. And she did many things to reinforce that. So as I moved through life, I have a hard time understanding at times when kids tell me, well, I just don't think I can do it. It's like, why? I don't understand that, because I truly believe I can do almost anything. And I think my mother, more than anything, gave me that belief. And I'm so happy that she was my mother. She's an awesome person.
Who was your wrestling idol or hero growing up?
Well, I think my wrestling idol growing up was Dan Gable. I think we all kind of worship Dan Gable and just aspire to be somebody that is like that, somebody that's honorable, somebody that's tough-minded, somebody that's a leader, somebody that can take people and move them from where they are to where they want to be. He was just somebody that just lit my mind on fire. Whether it was the wrestling or the coaching, I just really appreciated the things he brought to wrestling. He makes wrestling better. That's something that I always want to look at in a person. If you're a wrestler, if you're not making it better, then there's something wrong. I think that the obligation of the wrestling community is to make our sport better, to make our community better. And I think that he builds wrestling as good or better than anybody. And so Dan Gable was always somebody that I looked up to in that way.
What personal attribute contributed most to your success in the sport of wrestling?
An unwavering belief that success is going to come, and that you need to drag everybody across that line, not your best kids. You need to drag your worst kids across that line. If you say that everybody in this room is going to run sprints under 20 seconds, then everybody in this room better run sprints under 20 seconds. I don't care how big you are, how slow you are. I don't care about anything other than you're going to do the expectation. And that group needs to come together and make sure that happens. Whether there's crying involved, whether there's kicking and screaming involved, it doesn't matter. Everybody needs to know that they're not going to be left behind. And when that moment comes, that's when you see young men achieve things that they never thought they could. When they really believe, when they see that door open, and when they know you ain't giving up on them. No matter who they are, the worst kid on the team, the best kid on the team, it doesn't matter. What matters is you're part of the team. That concept to me is always resonated as the most important thing. You must be part of a team, and you must never leave anybody behind.
What is the most outstanding memory you have from your career in the sport of wrestling?
God, there's so many memories that I have from the sport of wrestling. If I had to choose one, just one memory to pluck out of my mind, it would be 1998. Kid Joe Vetchermile was wrestling for me. Beast. Physical. Just a Neanderthal. Barely knew a double leg, but a 2-time state place winner, right? And he was going to wrestle for 5th and 6th, but all of a sudden he came over to talk to me and he was crying. It makes me want to cry. And I said, "What's wrong, Joe?" He said, "I don't get to wrestle for you one more time, Coach. I don't get to wrestle for Temecula Valley." And it was at that moment when I realized what a difference we made in these kids' lives. This kid, this monster, this man was crying because he couldn't wrestle for me one more time. Wow. That made me really feel special. And Joe Vetchermile, thank you for that moment, because that's motivated me many times through my life to be a good coach and to be a good person and to try and bring these kids to their best. So yeah, that moment.
Throughout your wrestling career, what is the single most memorable match or event?
Wow. I'm going to go with event. I love winning duels. Especially when we're not supposed to. And we did it a lot of times, man. We were supposed to win a lot of them, But there was some we weren't supposed to win. And one particular one, we wrestled Santiago, and I think they were wrestled third in the state, ranked at the time. And we were not even ranked that year. We were just an average team. We were an average dual or individual team, but we weren't an average dual meet team. And we were kind of injured all year, but we came back together at the right time. And we beat them. I mean, I could name every match. You know, our 106, we'd never beaten the kid. We beat him that match in overtime. Right? Josh Cortez is wrestling one of the twin Thomas brothers, and we were losing by 5, but we beat him in overtime. You know, Leo Mendez is wrestling a returning CIF champion. We're losing 13-1, and we throw him and pin him. You know, we're wrestling at 225, and it's God, what's his name? It's the brother, one of my better kids. It's a brother, and he's never. We bump him to heavyweight. He wins a 1-0 match. I mean, we win 6 or 7 matches we shouldn't win. We don't win 1 match we shouldn't have won. We won 6 or 7. So that was a dual meet win that is for the ages for me. I mean, that was just... Now, there was another one against Vista Marietta that was really important to keep our streak alive, because since I've been at Temecula, we never lost a dual meet in league. We were 140-0. So that match, but beating Santiago in that duel was the best event, no doubt. That was awesome. Good versus evil.
What made you get involved in the sport of wrestling?
You know, I played a lot of sports growing up, and wrestling wasn't one of them. And then my cousin Mickey had to move in because he got in trouble, and he was a wrestler. And so he beat me up all summer, just beat the living crap out of me, you know. And I fought back, but I mean, he was a senior. I was in 7th grade at the time. And so I went out for wrestling. Back in New York, 7th, 8th, and 9th are your freshman teams, right? 10th, 11th, and 12th is high school. So I went out for wrestling in 8th grade, and you know, I just fell in love with it. It was like everything I'd gotten in trouble for up to that time, all of a sudden I was getting rewarded for. Getting in fights, you know, doing all this crazy. All of a sudden in wrestling, it was like, well, here's a medal if you beat him up, right? Here, let me pat you on the back because you did that. And my life changed. You know, all of a sudden I wasn't this little tiny guy who needed to prove things. I was a wrestler, and I had an opportunity for my outlet. I could go out there and do the thing I love most, and that was to challenge myself at the highest level. And that's what I love about wrestling. You ain't wrestling anybody but yourself, right? I mean, that challenge is you versus you, and I love that. And I love that in wrestling you can see it. You can watch a boy out there give up, and you just see it. You just see him give up on himself. It's like, damn, what did I do wrong? How do I make that change? Or you can see him actually overcome himself and become a better person and a stronger person. And that's the wonderful thing about wrestling. Yeah. And I think that's why I geared towards that. It's awesome. It's a challenge.
If you had the opportunity to start your career over again, is there anything you would change?
There's so many things I did horribly wrong, I'll be very honest. From, you know, dropping out of Division I, going to junior college, coming back. I don't think I would change any of it because it's made me who I am right now, and I'm very happy with who I am. I love my life. I love what the things I've done. And I think my failures, as much as my successes, have made me who I am. And without them, I wouldn't have the empathy for some of my kids that I have. I wouldn't be able to understand them on a level that I do now. So I don't think I could trade anything ever, because every problem I've ever had has somehow come to a rescue point in my life where I've been able to help another person. So I am very happy with where I'm at. I don't think I would change anything. I'm really, you know, I love who I am and what I am. So no, I'm good.
What would you like people to remember about you?
I would like people to remember about me being a contributor to the wrestling community. That I wasn't a selfish person. I didn't just do things for myself, but I did it for the betterment of wrestling. I truly believe that is what I did. I hope that's the way I'm viewed. I created tournaments. I traveled with kids, created camps, had a team, opened my doors, had open rooms. I wrote rules in the Blue Book for things that were important. I hope I'm remembered as a community-minded person who helped wrestling move forward. That's the most important thing there is. Wrestling is my religion. So if I didn't make it better, I'm not a good person. I hope I did. I hope I did.
Well, thank you for all you've done for wrestling, and again, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
your
Appreciate
induction.
it. Yeah, no doubt.